Welcome to Copytraders Club, where you can learn how to make more money copy trading. I'm Gavin Macaulay, my name and username on eToro. You can continue the conversation on Discord and Facebook. If you like this podcast and want to see it continue, you can do your part by recommending it to one person or group of people this week. Today we chat with an incredibly interesting and talented guest, and she's a fellow copy trader, all the way from Iceland via Norway. Here we go. Episode 46 of Copytraders Club, and we are delighted to see the impressive figure of Andrea stepping from the limousine. What does such a creative, inventive woman bring to her copy trading practice? We'll soon find out. And by the way, listener, there is a special treat at the end. Here she comes. Andrea, hi. Velkommen til Copytraders Club.
Thank you. Takk fyrir.
Lovely bit of Icelandic there. Andrea, as you know, you have to answer a series of quickfire questions to get past reception here at the clubhouse. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Username on eToro.
Bling Bling Marks.
Date you joined eToro.
23rd of December, 2020.
Year of birth.
1981.
Place of residence.
Norway at the moment.
Profession.
I'm a music producer, a singer and visual artist.
Briefly state what you aim to achieve on eToro.
Well, I want to make some money, and my goal is to have doubled what I have right now in 5 to 6 years.
Name one of your investing heroes.
I don't really have many investing heroes, but I would have to say my grandmother made some good calls in her days. So, yeah, my grandmother.
Name one of your favorite investing books.
I've never read an investing book in my life.
That completes the formalities. Let's proceed now into the VIP section here at the clubhouse. The glorious surroundings of the Copytraders Lounge await you. Andrea, aka Bling Bling Marks, are you ready for this magical transition?
Oh, yes, I am.
Here we are now, Andrea, in the inner sanctum. Many esteemed buttocks from the world of copy trading have occupied that sofa. So, how does it feel to be here?
Oh, the sofas are so comfortable, and the interior is explicit. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, great. Okay, so let's talk about Iceland for starters. Incredibly beautiful country, the land of fire and ice.
Yes.
I come from Ireland, which is a country blessed with beautiful scenery, cliffs, waterfalls, dramatic coastlines. But then when I visit the Highlands and Islands of Scotland, it seems to be like Ireland's scenery with 3 times leverage, to use an investing term.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went to Iceland, it's like Scotland with 3 times leverage. Absolutely breathtaking scenery.
Yeah, it is quite beautiful there. I've been to Scotland, but never to Ireland. But I always wanted to go, though.
I guess when you grow up there, you take it for granted, but it's one of the most visually dramatic countries I've ever visited.
Yeah, it is quite special. But I grew up partially in Norway. Like, I lived for 7 years in Norway when I was a child. But yeah, I mean, every time I would go away from Iceland, I always felt like I was in a very different place, and I was very happy to see trees and feel the warmth. And so I imagine when people come to Iceland, it's like some other planet. So it must always be quite different for people visiting there.
Yeah, well, I went there years ago with my wife, then girlfriend. So back in the days when we still enjoyed each other's company. And it was really incredible. Here's some interesting Iceland facts. It was one of the last places on Earth to be settled by humans. yet it has the oldest continually functioning parliament in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually do have, just so I mentioned that, we actually do have a lot of heritage or like a bloodline from Ireland and Scotland, like Celtic heritage. And like 60% of Celtic women were actually, women in Iceland were actually at some point Celtic. So we have a lot of Irish blood. Yeah.
Population of only 352,000 in the whole country. That amazes people.
Oh, we reached 350. I thought we were 204 and 340, but that's good to know. That's quite a few for us. Yeah.
But it's the most sparsely populated country in Europe.
Yeah.
And 60% of the population lives in Reykjavik.
Yes.
Fascinating. Okay, let's move on from Iceland. Let's talk about you. So, you said in your answers to your quickfire questions, you're a music producer and an artist. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I produce music and I'm also a singer. I have this project called Apex Anima, which is my solo project. And then I'm also a visual artist. I came to Norway. I was living in Berlin for a few years and came to Norway 4 years ago to do my master's in visual arts. Finished that, so I'm still here. So I'm doing like quite a mix of music, sound work, and also visual art. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place, I guess, creatively.
As any true artist should be.
Yeah, it's also good to have like one thing you focus on, but I kind of like to be all over the place. It's my thing to do a lot of different stuff.
Well, so the question is, as an artist, how come you're interested in investing? I thought it was compulsory for all artists to partake in the noble struggle of poverty,
It is.
finding solace in feeding their soul through artistic expression rather than financial gain. So what's going on?
It is. You're right. No, it's actually right. No, here's the thing. Like in the end, I mean, I've been broke most of my life, or like relatively. Come on, I mean, I live in Norway and Iceland, and so broke is relative, but still, like I never had like much extra cash. But truth is, we have to find ways of surviving. Also thinking about the future, and also thinking about like, okay, because I mean, being an artist, you always have to often find, or most artists have to find some way to, how do you say, like, alternative income. Because even though you're a successful artist, like it's just not much money in it. And also as a musician, I mean, nobody buys music anymore. So yeah, I thought like, okay, now I have a little bit of cash. Not often that I have that, and I should invest it. And then, like, I'm interested in also geopolitics and stuff like that. And there's a lot you start to understand about the world when you follow the money. When you look at the economy or how nations communicate, or like how things work basically, and it's all about the money. And this is also what makes it kind of interesting, or at least was interesting for me. I learned a lot just trying to understand this world of investments.
Well, we're all just trying to understand this world of investments. And, now that I'm making this podcast, I feel your pain creating art for zero financial return.
Yeah.
This is my art, you see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's talk about how come you're here at the Copytraders Club.
Stephen Budgeon reached out to me. He said he had been on your show and asked me if I wanted to appear on your show, and I said yes, because he told me you were looking for people. So I think that's where it started.
Absolutely. Well, it's good for copiers to talk to each other. There's very little dialogue elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we can really understand what people are doing in different ways than maybe we are, and what are good strategies, what are the pitfalls, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you talk to other copy traders in your real life?
Yes, I do. But not so, I mean, through the Discord channels, I communicate with others.
Yeah, that's not real life. I mean, down the coffee shop in
Oh,
Norway.
real life.
Yeah.
Oh, physical, like real physical life. No, no, no. I have no friends that are interested in investing. I got really excited about it, and they were all like, "Just shut up, shut up about this." Really bored and annoyed, and I was like, "Yeah, but I got some of my friends to start, but they're not really interested in talking about it. They just put a little bit of money and hope that I'm right.
And are they copying the same people as you, or are they copying you, or what's the story?
No, I would never have anybody copy me. Oh, Jesus, no. But yeah, they're copying Wesley and Steven. So yeah, I promoted them to my friends.
Very good. Okay, maybe we'll keep it general before we get on to the specifics. So your objectives for eToro are quite simple: to make a little bit of side money. What are the main rules you live by in terms of copy trading to try and achieve these objectives?
In copy trading, I would say I just have to trust the people that I've decided to copy. There isn't much else I can really do. I just kind of leave it to them. So yeah, just to be patient, I guess.
Do you stay on top of their performance?
Yeah, I check it once in a while. I'm just curious sometimes, what they're buying and what they're selling and stuff like that when I have time.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more later on about your two specific choices and the pros and cons of those PIs. Obviously, one of them is that you've chosen two of the most communicative PIs there are. So it's quite easy to stay on top of what they're up to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
But speaking more generally, have you ever written out your copy trading manifesto?
Oh, no, I've never done that.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Well, you can explain. I think I do, but maybe I misunderstand.
Like a document that you can lay down all your thoughts and all your hopes and the reason behind why you're copying individual people, the kind of copier you intend to be, so that you can refer back to this document maybe in times of stress, so that you don't act on impulse. You read that, you realize this is my manifesto, this is what I set out to do. I wrote this when my mind was calm. Now that I'm panicking, it's comforting to read it again, that kind of thing.
No, I don't. No, I'm not much on writing things like this down. I mean, I've just made my choice and yeah, I'm fine. I trust them, so it's okay.
What do you think your appetite for risk is in your eToro portfolio? I suppose we should mention at this point, without getting too specific, you copy a few people and you have a bunch of your own positions, stocks and crypto. Just generally speaking, how risk tolerant do you think you are?
You want me to reply to that in the scale that eToro uses? What is it, 1 to 8?
Or in one that's meaningful?
One that's meaningful. Oh, God. How risk tolerant am I? Well, it turns out I'm more risk tolerant than I thought I was. Okay, like let's say in eToro language, that would be around 5, sometimes 6, I guess. I think that if I really... Oh, this is hard to answer. Well, if I really believe in an asset or a PI, I don't really care about volatility in that sense, but then you never know also. I don't know.
But that's okay. That's interesting because you're drawing the distinction between risk and volatility, which one could argue the eToro risk score doesn't do. It's really a volatility indicator.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, I mean, I think the further you go on and understand how up and down things are, like the more immune and like immune you are to it, and also you're less scared because it's just fluctuations. It's just like somebody with mania depression. I have a lot of friends that are crazy. No, I'm not crazy. Oh, take that out. They're not crazy, but
Well, listen, Do you know the concept of Mr. Market?
No.
Well, because you're hitting upon something that's very well known in the investing world, which is the book that Warren Buffett credits with being his most influential read.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about Mr. Market being a farmer who lives next door to you, and he is a manic depressive. He has wild mood swings, and he's constantly offering things for you to purchase at various prices, and they go up and down like crazy.
Yeah.
And so you just stay cool and wait until he offers you such a low price that you can't say no.
Okay, yeah.
So you're right. You remain calm during all these fluctuations because the market acts in an emotionally volatile way. You sure you've never read any investing books?
I'm pretty sure I have. Not that I haven't, yes. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so tell us how you got started on eToro.
Well, here's the thing. I had actually wanted to start investing for a while. And I remember when the lockdown started in March 2020, I remember just lying on the sofa and being exhausted, watching Corona news all the time. And then thinking like, oh, now is the time. Now is the time to to start investing and learn about investing. You should invest because everything is down. You have to like get up but then I didn't, I was just also exhausted from a project that was canceled, because of COVID and I'd worked on for a year. So I just didn't have the energy. But then I started to read, a little bit in the following months and kind of, because I wanted to know what I was getting myself into, and learn about, this thing called the market and investing and all that. So yeah, that's how I started. And then but I didn't start investing until the 23rd of December 2020. That's when I laid down my first investment. So yeah, took a while for research first.
And why eToro?
Just because that's, when you're looking for places or looking for, I mean, I didn't really know where to start investing. And so I remember this ad with Alec Baldwin. That was kind of cool. I mean, I like this ad and I like Alec Baldwin. I was like, okay, maybe I'll take a look at this. But I have to say that the following ads have not been as good as the one.
Well, I don't think Alec's going to be appearing in any other future ones.
No, I know. I'm more saying this maybe as a joke.
Well, you're an artist, so tell us what your view is. If you were to be the artistic mind behind their advertising, what way would you take it?
I would take out the Simon and Joe both invest in stocks ad, and I would also take out that cringy ad when they're all in this their different rooms dancing. It's like very cringy. I would take that out. But what exactly I would do? I would try to keep it like a little bit cool, or at least a little bit down to earth. Not with such a high sales pitch. I mean that would appeal to me. Let's just stay a little bit on the ground and not be so. How do you say it? Like.
They're a bit cheesy and schmaltzy and stuff like that, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right?
If they would keep it real, we've talked about this before on the pod.
Keep it real, yeah.
Use real people, real PIs, real copiers talking about their experiences.
Exactly. That would be enough,
Instead of actors with these sugar sweet voiceovers, it just makes the whole thing a bit sort of unreal and sort of inaccessible when it in fact is a very cool and real platform.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this also appeals more to people, especially when investing your money. You want to know something is real, and there's so many scams out there, and like moon boys, and like especially in crypto, and it's just an overload of clickbait. So if you had something more realistic and low-fi or like down to earth, I think it would appeal much more to people, at least somebody like me.
Okay, so take us back to the days when you first logged on to eToro. How did you find the whole onboarding process?
It's very user-friendly. It's quite accessible and very simple. I mean, we're all familiar with social media platforms. We know how to use them and how they work. But also this, in terms of like finding PIs, finding assets, I thought all of that was very user-friendly and easy to navigate.
It is very easy to navigate. There's no doubt the UX is amazing. Incredibly easy to sign up, fund your account, click copy.
Mm-hmm.
What's less easy maybe is to understand all the ins and outs of copy trading before you do click copy.
Yeah, that might be true. Yeah.
So how did you piece together that information?
In terms of like, even though it's a simple setup, it's easy to make a mistake, like wondering if you should copy all trades and that. But this information, most PIs have on their sites, and it's information they repeat very often because it's important. At least those that make content often repeat this because it's a common question as well.
What made you decide upon these PIs then? Were you looking for investors with specific types of portfolio?
No, to be honest, it was, I think it comes down to just how they communicated. I followed Wesley. I think I discovered Wesley first. I mean, he is also one of these elite PIs, is what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm. He's an elite pro.
Elite pro PI. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously it was very visible. I don't remember the details, but I remember joining his Discord channel, and that opened up a lot because you got to meet a lot of the other members or copiers and be part of a conversation. And then eventually you kind of became part of this community, and this was very influential in my choice. Like, you got to understand the PI better, his personality and his way of thinking. And I think, yeah, for me, that was really important. Yeah, the character behind the portfolio and strategy and all that, and understanding what they did, and they being like explaining what they're doing.
Well, let's talk about that now because, as mentioned earlier, Wes and Stephen, they make a lot of videos and they both really do position themselves as providers of information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stephen's YouTube channel is even called The Approachable Investor.
Yeah.
Do you subscribe to their YouTube channels and watch their updates?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And tell us about those.
It's very useful to understand, like, a quick follow up. I mean, most people don't have time to follow all the markets and everything that's happening. So when you have the PI that you're copying explaining, what went on the week, or like what's going on with a particular stock, or just explaining things to you like that is very helpful. And you can listen to that wherever, like, on the bus, or it's just very convenient. So I do listen to their content and read up on their updates.
And they've got a very different style, don't they? Wesley's very kind of, I suppose you would say, serious and intellectual. He kind of comes across as. Stephen's a bit more sort of friendly and keeps it simpler, I think. He sort of comes across to me as a bit of a primary school teacher.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, also his target group. I mean, that was my feeling. Like, at least when he was starting out with making content, was being accessible to let's say newbies or people that are totally new in investing and never invested before. And I think that was really good because there are so many, especially for the last couple of years, or like since 2020, there's so many new people coming in there that have no idea where to start. No, I mean, I had no clue. Like, okay, where do I look? And so that's maybe his target group. And also in his Discord, it's sometimes more, I guess, yeah, like maybe basic stuff. Whereas Wesley, I mean, he's been there longer on the platform. He also has like many more copiers. So I guess that it's easier for him to have more advanced content for those that are interested in that. But like, if you ask Steven for like advanced content as well, like, he would give it to you, and he will do that personally, like on his Discord. He's very diligent and active in like answering questions.
Yeah, I think Wes has given up on Discord, has he not?
Yeah, he did, and that was kind of we were very sad to see him go, but we also understood, or like many people, at least some of them in there understood that maybe that this was too much. Him having like I don't know almost 20,000 copiers or something. I don't remember how many it is, but yeah, he was very active there, and that was I think one of the reasons also I started to copy him, and I put so much of my funds on him.
So let me just explain. Your invested column reads Wesley, a little over 32%. Stephen, aka Bees84, a little over 28%. And there is a third person you copy for 3.5%. Tell us who that is.
It's camper vans.
What attracted you to camper vans?
I don't remember. Uh, I just had a few on my watch list, and at some point I had an amount, and I had already put so much into Vestly, and this amount wasn't enough to cover all positions with Steven. So it was kind of random. I was like, I'll just put something on this guy a little bit, and yeah, and I'd done research on some PIs, and he was on my watch list, and I was like, okay, because there was a downturn in the market, and I wanted to put this money somewhere, and I was like, okay, that's. So I don't really know much about this guy. I just know he's from the UK. Actually, all of my peers, I think, are from the UK, except maybe Wesley is from South Africa, but lives there. So yeah, but he doesn't have much content really, so I don't know really much about him.
Yes, he's not as communicative in terms of YouTube videos or anything like that.
No.
So do you stay in touch with what he's doing on his feed or anything? Or is it because he's such a small allocation you don't really pay attention?
He does sometimes post content, but it's very rare. And sometimes I happen to see that and I read that. But there just isn't so much. So
Like, how much time do you spend opening eToro and reading the feed?
that so there are periods with an unhealthy amount of opening eToro and kind of like whether it's actually necessary or just a way to procrastinate from something else, like opening my portfolio, and especially in times of volatility where I'm like, whoa, what's happening, but how much time? It's very different. I was very obsessively on eToro for the first, I guess, 7 months. But then I went to another country on a big project and had to stay away. I didn't have time to look at it, and that was kind of a healthy detachment. And I've been trying to be less on there right now. But I would say I log in when I'm very busy doing something. I log in maybe like 3 times a week. Otherwise, it can be up to 15 times per day if I'm in I don't know.
Struggling for artistic inspiration?
Yeah. Something like that. Or just not wanting to do the task at hand. And I'm like, how is my portfolio doing?
Speaking of your portfolio, stocks 65%, crypto 25%, ETFs almost 8%, currencies almost 1%, indices 0.5%, and commodities almost 0.5%. So plenty of asset classes represented there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at what you have other than people in your portfolio. In terms of crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum, just the two big boys. Bitcoin 11.5%, Ethereum 1.5%, and quite a lot of Chinese stocks there, some tech. Are you planning to transition from being a copier to being an individual investor entirely?
No. And no plans about doing that. No.
What are your plans?
I don't really make plans. I'm kind of like, yeah, a lot of it is a bit random. I don't have like a set strategy for my portfolio. Like when I have cash, I just think about at each time like what makes sense to invest in. I also have more crypto on other types of exchanges, like crypto exchanges. But yeah, I've been thinking often, oh, I should just stick to the PIs, But sometimes there are also good opportunities in individual stocks, and uh, individual stocks that my PIs have been investing in that I wanted more exposure to, especially when they've been dipping.
Right.
But what's dragging me down now is the China chunk of my portfolio. Otherwise, there are some good bets there, I guess.
Yeah, if that was to rise again, you'd be sitting pretty. You and Wes both.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's dragging Wesley down is mostly the Chinese bets.
And how do you deal with that? Because you say you only came onto the platform towards the end of last year. Wes has had many years of wonderful success.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year's been a real damp squib for him.
Yeah.
And you've been along on the ride with him only for the disappointing times.
Yeah.
How do you cope with that?
Well, of course I'm disappointed and like frustrated in a sense, but the thing is when you decide to copy somebody or invest in something, you just have to already make peace with a loss. You know what I mean? And it can be hard, but it's like, when things go really bad, all I can do is laugh. Or like, it's not like that much money that is going to make me bankrupt. But I also think, like, for example, those Chinese companies, they're good companies, but it's mostly a political factor that is the reason for this. And wait and see. And otherwise, a loss is a loss. And like with the PIs, you can't allow yourself to be frustrated or angry. I mean, you just bet on somebody, and I still have like full faith in Wesley as an investor. I mean, his content and the way he speaks in his research, like he's quite smart, and like everybody can have a bad year, and it's just you just have to wait it out, basically.
Well, that's a great attitude.
I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, there's so many, like, I feel very bad for him because, I mean, he has a lot of copiers and there's a lot of them that are aggressive and insulting online. And it's just like, it's a bet you take. You just have to live with it. And I just find it incredible how much, like, on eToro, unfortunately, there's often a lot of, it can be a shit show, people are just, I mean, they're basically just saying what comes to mind, and they don't have to take any responsibility because, there's no personal info on them. And it's just like, it's a bit sad to see sometimes, but I think he's handling it pretty well. And I also want to say that the reason I do have such faith in both Wesley and Steven is that they're so level-headed. They don't go into defense mode, even though they're being attacked. They're always like, they stay calm and stick to their strategies. And you have to have a certain, like, both to handle the volatility and all this responsibility of having all these funds, people's funds under your management, but also all the hate you can get, and sometimes I get more upset. Like, I got really, I remember there was this one particular guy harassing Steven a lot, and I got really defensive. I was always like calling him out and kind of like, being like a vigilante for the PIs, because I really don't like when somebody's nasty to them. So,
well, that's great. I admire your patience. And you say, what else can you do? And then you kind of answered that. A lot of people's choice of action is to lash out, to be angry, to quit the copy, to join another copy, to stay only a short time there, to quit that copy, to lose all their money, to then make a video of how eToro is a complete scam and copy trading is a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit sad and a bit, I mean, it's a funny platform also, just in like observing human behavior in general, especially male human behavior with money. Everybody seems to know the answer. Everybody's so like sure what they're saying. Like, it's going to go like this. No, it's going to go like this, you idiot. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
Great.
Man.
No, I find it hilarious. I have a lot of fun reading through some of the feeds sometimes.
Dear listener, just a little pause here to say a few things directly to you. The calendar is full until the end of the year. That will mean 52 episodes, which seems like a good time to pause and call it Season 1 and take stock. It's been a lot of fun and a lot of time and effort, but I'm pleased to be creating something of value for eToro users, particularly Copytraders. Whether there will be a Season 2 depends on a number of factors. I say it elsewhere, but I want to repeat it again here to really encourage a little action from you. If you want to see the podcast continue, you can help by bringing more listeners in. A lot of people still don't know about Copytraders Club, so post about it on your PI's feed in eToro. Mention it on a Facebook group or in whatever Discord groups you're in. That's not too much of an ask, is it? On the podcast apps, there's always a share function that includes copy link. Use that. Or copy the YouTube channel link and share that. Or share a link to your favourite episode. There are many ways to eat an orange. I also have one of those affiliate links for new eToro signups in every episode's show notes. So, if you know someone interested in signing up, please copy and send them that link and help support the show that way. Now, I know these calls to action that you hear on podcasts can easily be ignored, and I always ignore them myself, let's be honest. But this time, I am asking you, as someone who listens to and enjoys this one-person independent podcast, to make a little effort to help it along. You can even press pause and take 2 minutes to do it right now. If you do, know that I am grateful. If you don't, every time you hear this bit, you will be overcome with a crippling sense of guilt and unworthiness. Until you do. Back to the show. Okay, here's a question. I don't know if it'll come to anything, but I'll ask it. Tell me something about copy trading that you only learned embarrassingly recently.
Maybe not something I learned, but I was convincing a friend of mine to copy Wesley, and she did. And then I just felt a bit bad that it hasn't gone up because I really convinced her. So that was a little bit embarrassing, but nothing I learned in a bad way, I think. No.
Yeah. As long as she has the same mindset as you, then that shouldn't be a problem. But I kind of feel like recommending PIs to a new user who's a friend of yours. It's a bit like stock recommendations, you know.
It is.
You've got to make your decision yourself. You've got to do your own research.
Mm-hmm,
you know,
absolutely.
do your due diligence and all that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'll come crying to you and say, what did you put me in touch with this Wes guy for? He's hopeless.
I sent her so many links. And you have to also take into account, or something maybe worth mentioning here, is that the 2008 financial crisis hit Iceland in a very hardcore way, to say the least.
Yeah, I was there just after that.
Oh yeah, you came at a good time when our currency was just halved overnight. So it was actually possible for people to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so my friends and family in Iceland are quite intimidated, understandably, and so am I. And I've lived through a time where basically all value just suddenly value is wiped out overnight because of regulators that were not doing their job and greedy banks and stuff like that. So you get a little bit more wary of spending your money or making bets because it's all fleeting and it can all collapse. But the thing is, if you are one of those PIs like Wesley, that he made a couple of videos about being in a bubble and crashes. And this video I sent to my friend, and that video also helped me understand like how the market works, and also in long term that even though things go down, the wheels keep moving, and this was very helpful. And also, I have to say, because I was very prejudiced against um, all finance people. Like after the country crashed, I remember so many, like when I was working as a waitress in Iceland, there were so many cocky business guys, and they were all kind of assholes, saying like, "Oh, why are you serving a miso soup with chicken in it? If you go to Japan, I was there on a business trip last month. You don't serve that. They don't have that." And you're just like, "Oh Jesus, spare me." And then these people like make your country bankrupt. And so, in my mind, like investment and money is just like, yeah, full of douchebags. So when I went into eToro, and like I guess I was a bit biased, but then I found these people, and also these PIs that turned out to be quite decent, decent people. So I was a bit prejudiced, I have to say. And so I think character is important, and you have to kind of like to you have to like your PIs and respect them, at least for somebody like me. Of course, it's about money, but like if you're gonna be copying somebody for a few years, you have to kind of like who they are and understand what they do, and they have to be present and so forth.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, that's a new shift in the world of investing and finance and money managers. You have to like them. In the past, you didn't even know who the hell they were. It was just some company, some committee meeting making decisions as to how to manage clients' funds for the next 2 quarters. Now you're talking about wanting to know they're a good person, wanting to like them, wanting to stay in touch with them, wanting to be updated by them as to their way of thinking.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe that's just me. I mean, like I say, we're all in it for the money, but it's like important for me that they are good people. Like that's just my personal thing, but I don't know if anybody else really cares about that, really.
Well, plenty of people do. People care about all sorts of things. That's what I'm beginning to realize on eToro. There's all sorts of PIs, and there's all sorts of copiers and reasons why they want to copy certain people or stay in that copy, which I find really amazing. I think it's a really interesting shift.
Yeah.
On a kind of associated note, would you ever close individual trades that your PIs have made, maybe for reasons of principle?
I thought about it. I almost did, because of some ethical reasons. When I started to copy, I don't remember who it was, but then I thought like, oh, maybe I shouldn't copy this position. But then I was thinking also like, okay, if I go down this like ethical route, then I'm not gonna be able to copy anything, because in the end, like everything is interconnected. You can always find something that is negative. And I was also just worried that it would just make my portfolio or like my copy messy, and just like kind of ruin it. So I just decided, oh, these few coins in this company I don't like, whatever. Like, or I just had to give up my principles, I guess.
Well, see, again, I don't think that's absolutely necessary. There are PIs out there who do have ethical guidelines.
Yeah.
In fact, even last week's guest on the show, Thomas Maivard, who's actually a bit similar to you in that his life involves performance and theatre and fire breathing and things.
Ah, yeah.
And he runs an ethical investing portfolio.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And he's the kind of guy that will obviously appeal to some people,
Yeah.
whereas others might take one look at him and think, why on earth would I put my money with that guy? He's not a suit wearing good old boy from the institutions that I value.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I thought about also just like copying only renewable energy funds and stuff like that, but then I just like those PI so much. I was like, oh, they're nice guys. I'll copy them.
Yeah. I mean, I've closed a couple of individual trades myself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, weapons, weapons of war. I'm not really interested in having that.
No.
I try not to let it affect my views of the PIs. I think they're doing a great job. I mean, everyone's different. You can justify all sorts of things different ways. And I just didn't care too much about messing up the copy. I just thought I'd rather have a slightly messy copy than have blood on my hands.
Yeah. Totally. I totally understand that. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. Thankfully, I don't think there's been any of, or well, maybe I should check that.
No, I can't imagine Stephen Budgeon investing in bombs. That wouldn't be fitting the profile of guy he is, I don't think.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's a dark route. It's there's some things that are like an absolute, like no.
Technically speaking, is setting a copy stop loss a no for you?
I think I have it down to 70%, but I might even remove it because I don't really see the reason. I mean, I think it's more risky to have like a stop loss because if everything tanks, right? Like if the world ends, then anyway, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, anyway, the market's going to go up anyway.
Well, as Peter Lynch says, most of the time the world doesn't end.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
But that's an interesting topic. I was just watching a video on the YouTube channel Social Trading Vlog. You know that guy, Thomas, who makes thousands of eToro videos. Has been doing it for years. He's the most prolific eToro YouTuber. And he just had his copy stop loss hit in his copy of Miyoshi. And he was really disappointed. He was like, oh no, Miyoshi's such a nice guy. But, there you go.
Yeah.
What can you do? Copy stop loss has been hit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just copy him again, he said. Maybe I'll just reopen the copy. And I was thinking, well, that's the problem with the copy stop loss.
Yeah.
It looks like a great safety mechanism, but it's in fact a dagger to the back when you're not paying attention.
Exactly. There might be something going on and you don't know and you don't have time to think about it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially with these PIs that are full time, like you just trust that they're going to be there and that, you don't, that's why you copy in the first place, right? Like you don't have time to be there full time.
Yeah. And just, prices can go down as well as up and sometimes very quickly. They say you take the steps to go up and the elevator to go down.
I've never heard this one.
I'm full of cliches today.
I'm going to say it to my friends who know nothing about investing and they're going to think I'm so smart.
Okay, so we just mentioned a moment ago possible dilemmas with ethical investing and positions that the PIs might open that you don't agree with. What other behaviors do you consider to be cardinal sins of PIs?
What I would watch out for would be somebody who is taking unnecessary risk. Let's say there's a hype stock, like a GameStop or something similar being pumped. And I mean, sometimes you want that risk, but like personally, I would never take that risk when I had somebody else's money under my management. You just have to, yeah, too much reckless risk and maybe too much leverage. I would stay away from. And also somebody that wouldn't, how can you say it, get really defensive. Like, so I've seen some PIs get really defensive when they receive critique. Instead of just stay cool, they just get like even condescending or defensive. That's not like a good character, I think, indication of character.
I suppose other cardinal sins that I have in mind when I ask that question are things like if they get caught adding funds at the end of a losing month, if they exaggerate or they emphasize lifetime returns when a copier today isn't going to get anything like that because their strategy is completely different.
Transparency is incredibly important, and honesty, and you can very quickly see it when that's not the case. And adding funds regularly is something that a lot of copiers complain about. And also, like, if you have all these people that have their money in you, like, if you're acting too much always in self-interest, it's not gonna, I think, go well in the long term. Like adding funds when it suits you, and things like that are not a sign of a good PI. Also, like, the tone and communication. Of course, it's going to be backlash. When there's loss, there's going to be backlash from some copiers, but then you can tell a lot about a person about, like, from how they deal with it. And some PIs can be very condescending and defensive, and just start to kind of blame the market, or blame situations, or blame the person that is confronting them. And even though sometimes those confrontations are not very classy, then it's, you should stay cool. You're handling money, and you should just kind of get your emotions out of it and be level-headed. So our arrogance is really off-putting. And also, when sometimes when I'm reading the bio of PIs, it's like when there's too much congratulating, let's say, a personal trait, rather than, the normal confidence is good to have, like stating what you've done with your life, or like your achievements or your backgrounds. And that's good. You need to have a confidence as a PI. But when it's like overinflated ego, for example, the other day I saw this guy that was like, yeah, I'm a natural problem solver. And what does that mean? Oh, good for you, but like, is that going to make me money? And like, or it was even something like about him as I don't think he mentioned like a Romeo, that he's a Romeo, but it was something like a ladies' man or something like that.
Oh,
And
dear.
and also, I speak 6 languages. Like, yeah, right, you don't. You might know like a sentence in some language. You don't speak that. Like, if you're full of shit.
Did he say I speak 6 languages, including the language of love?
No, I don't think he did. Thankfully, but he probably thinks he does, though. It's something I think this guy would say. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I can't wait for you to tell me who that is off air.
Yeah, I don't remember. But, you see a lot of different stuff out there.
You mentioned just a moment ago about PIs adding funds. How often do you add to your account? Is it regular or ad hoc?
It's very ad hoc. It's quite, depending on when I have funds. Yeah, so there's no particular amount per month or anything like that. It's kind of random. Maybe at least once a month, I think I add something. Yeah, or every 2 months. Yeah.
And do you have any intentions to add to your list of PIs? Are you comfortable with 3?
My fear with adding more PIs is that I'm just worried that I would dilute my returns, because if you have so many PIs that all are invested in like minimum 30 assets, I just have this kind of fear that it would just kind of be too flooded. I might be wrong, but it's good for risk, being risk averse, or like hedging, but I also want some, gains. So
Yeah. Well, for someone who hasn't read any investing books, your head is full of sound principles. You're picking them up from somewhere, if you ask me.
yeah, maybe I've come across them or read. I mean, I did a lot of research before I started to invest, because I'm obviously bruised from what's happened. So I just want to know what I was doing.
Okay, what one feature would you really love to see on eToro?
This one is a bit hard. I kind of feel, I'm not sure that there's anything I could really add. I've sometimes thought, oh, I wish I could message this person, but then again, it would just be like Facebook, and I hate Facebook. So no, that would just be too much, I think. Can't really think of anything.
Wow, most people have a massive list of things they'd like to change on eToro.
Like what?
Well, like minimum copy amount, it would be nice if that was a set field and you didn't have to try and work that out, or you didn't have to listen to the PI explaining it. It'd be nice if that was just a piece of data
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Or something like a little checkbox as to whether this PI, whether they add funds, or they've ticked a box to say, I'm never going to add funds. That would be quite handy.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, that's true. That would be really handy, yeah. That there was some info that was incorporated inside.
And then there's loads of things like a bunch of other pictures, or like a set place somewhere on their profile where they can share media links, so you can see their YouTube appearances or listen to their Copytraders Club episode, or other very high quality content like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not allowed to list links, like Discord links and stuff like that, which is kind of sad.
It seems to be a bit of a grey area, because a lot of them do. And Sam Rudnick, the head of the PI program, said he was more than happy for PIs to link to Copytraders Club, for example, because it gives users a better idea of what they're all about.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, final question. What one question do you wish I had asked you that I didn't?
I think it was so perfect that I can't think.
You can come back anytime.
Yeah, I can't think. I think it was absolute excellence. So nothing there that was missing.
Well, if there's one message you wanted to send out to the world from your experience on eToro, and particularly of copy trading, what would that message be?
Well, I guess the usual, like, do your research on a PI, those that have enough material there. Somebody that you feel is trustworthy, and just stay off eToro. Put your money there. Don't go on eToro. Don't be there all the time. Just wait. Just be patient. So you save yourself a lot of...
Sounds like you're giving advice that you don't follow yourself.
Yeah. I'm good at that. That's my thing. No, but honestly, those times that I stay away, it's just like, oh, okay, it's gone up. Or like, I mean, basically, like always, be patient. And these guys know what they're doing. Choose one that know what they're doing. And just wait it out. Stick with it.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I have a cliche, but I'm not going to say it. Like, I know enough now to have a cliche on my hands, but no, I'm going to leave that unsaid.
Well, what you have said today, Andrea, has been very entertaining and very interesting always to talk to other copiers. As I say, I think your approach will yield results in the long term. I think you're doing a lot of things right. Thank you. It's good to know. Well, it's been good to know you, and thank you very much for dropping by the Copytraders Clubhouse. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And can I order another drink? Of course you can. Bless. Bless. Always a joy to see inside the mind of other copy traders and hear how they manage the various challenges of this revolutionary new brand of market participation. As promised, the talented and impressive Andrea has kindly agreed to share with you, listener, a real treat in the form of a YouTube video. A special alchemy occurs when Andrea curates an unlikely threesome in the pleasing shape of her musical talents, artistic creativity, and growing interest in the capital markets. The link, which I very much urge you to click, is in the show notes. That's all from me. You can continue the conversation on Discord and Facebook. If you like this podcast and want to see it continue, you can do your part by recommending it to one person or group of people this week. Until next time we meet at Copytraders Club, I wish you many happy returns. Obviously, anything you hear in this podcast for entertainment only, not financial advice, do your own research. It's just generic chit-chat. We don't know your individual circumstances, etc., and so forth.